We have got this epic clip from Charlie Kirk debating on college campuses with young people. And in this clip, he obliterates this young woman. He destroys her with facts and logic. Okay, I'll calm down. This young woman, I respect that she came up and she expressed her opinions. Charlie Kirk in this clip, it's only about a minute long, gives his argument and leaves her dumbfounded, absolutely speechless. But I am not a staunch pro-lifer, as many of you know, but I do have arguments against what I would consider to be the pro-abortion side. Here we go with an abortion debate. But check out this clip. I want to talk a little bit about it, and I want to talk to you about the problems I have with the left on the issue. I think that if I have, and I have had these conversations with someone like Charlie Kirk, we're going to agree on most things. And the limits are in the Constitution and in governance, not in morality. But I want to explain first. Let's play this video.
I am of the belief that abortion is never medically necessary.
Are you a doctor?
No. Are you?
No.
But there is there is a community of OBGYNs that agree with me.
So is it our decision to make? Is it something that we can decide?
That's an interesting question.
So
First of all,
should it be something that people have the ability to vote on, yes or no, if a woman is able to make that choice?
Should a mom be able to kill her 2-year-old daughter?
No.
Are you a doctor?
No.
Okay, that was
Why are we able to say it's wrong?
epic. Can a mom kill her 2-year-old daughter? No. Are you a doctor? Exactly. Uh-oh.
So we're able to make moral statements when the baby's outside the womb. Why not when it's in the womb?
Uh-oh. Haven't really thought about it.
Coming up, think about that.
Oh, man, dude. That was a mic drop from Charlie Kirk. Thank you for coming up. Have a nice day. Let's break this down, though. I can offer up some answers. The only problem is morally consistent. Charlie Kirk is right. Look, this young woman, she's not good at making the argument or having a debate with Charlie Kirk. And the response they'd like to do is they're like, you're just going to debate college students? And Charlie's like, this is what we're trying to do. Charlie is giving a masterclass right here. This young woman, you haven't considered what you're talking about. On the issue of abortion, which is like a dominant issue for the left, even though it's only like the 4th most pressing issue for the country, or 5th, they haven't thought through what they're saying. So when I have conversations from leftists about the limits of abortion, they call me pro-life. And I'm like, bro, I am more like Tulsi Gabbard, safe, legal, rare. You know, like some circumstances it may happen. And I got friends who are like, no, always wrong. I'm like, well, let's have that conversation. My view is middle of the road, moderate. I don't like abortion. But here's the thing, Charlie, with that mic drop, she has nothing to say. She could have made an argument like the left likes to make when he says we can make moral statements if the baby's outside of the womb, but not inside the womb. She could have said something like, if we're talking about viability, we're talking about an independent human being that can survive on its own, which we say you cannot end its life, versus something that is dependent on another person's body, and whether that person is obligated to provide its body to someone else. These are distinct, and this creates a moral separation. However, my friends, that's an argument she could have made if she was a better debater, but I still think it's morally inconsistent, and I'll break it down for you what I think. So the reason why I wanted to talk about this, one, the video is epic, shout out to Charlie Kirk, but I recently saw, and I mentioned this the other day, a friend posted a video, an argument the left makes all the time, and I should say it's the pro-abortion side, okay, because not every leftist, there are Democrats that are pro-life, though it's few and far between because they're all joining the Republican Party. This is insane. I cannot stand hearing people say, they say, how about you don't get abortions and you don't tell other people what they can or can't do? If you don't like abortion so much, just don't get them. And I'm like, okay, that argument in itself is like, are you hearing yourself? Okay, you're saying the other person doesn't like babies being killed, but they should just ignore it. So I had a friend post something on Instagram, liberal, and she's like, I once got an abortion and I don't believe it was a baby or a life. It was a clump of cells, blah, blah, blah. I have no guilt. I don't care that it's gone and I don't think about it. And she says, I know that many conservatives, and pro-lifers think that was a baby, but I do not. So how about you respect, like if you don't like abortions, you don't get one, and then you let me decide for myself. I'm just flabbergasted by this. The argument being made by the left is quite literally, I know you think this is murder, but let me do it and you just don't do it yourself. That would be like saying, I know you think burglarizing liquor stores is wrong, so how about you don't burglarize a liquor store, and then when I do, you respect my choice. No, what? That's the stupidest argument I ever heard. Now, me, I don't consider myself to be on the left pro-choice or the right pro-life. And the reason for it is these are political terms that represent factions. You are either pro-abortion or you are anti-abortion. And the reality is there is no simple middle ground. I'm sorry, I have no good answers for you. For the right, it is clear cut. It is outright just we do not allow abortion. But let's break down first what abortion is. Abortion is defined, even by leftist organizations like Planned Parenthood, as a medical procedure ending a pregnancy that results in the death of the baby. That's an important distinction right there. That is to say, if the baby is dead and it is removed, it is not an abortion. Now, I had this argument with Seamus Coughlin a year or so ago when I said, no, abortion could be like a stillbirth or something like, the baby is dead in the womb. And Seamus was saying, you're wrong. And I'm like, no, I'm right. And then I looked it up and I was like, Seamus, you are right. Seamus, you are 100% correct. Planned Parenthood even says ending a pregnancy in a way that ends the life of the fetus or baby or whatever words you want to use. So then we have the question around when is an abortion allowed or not allowed? And there's some serious challenges. There are instances where women cannot physically give birth to a child. There's a woman who gave a great answer to Charlie Kirk too. And she said that she was told the baby's amniotic sac had torn, fused to its spine, and the baby was going to die, and she has to terminate. Although many, I think the end result was that she felt lied to, that she didn't have to do this. I'm not entirely sure. My issue is mostly about the limitations of government in regulating whether or not one person provides their body to another person. It is not a moral question, because morally I agree almost entirely with Charlie Kirk. However, there are political and constitutional challenges that I don't think are easily overcome. Now, moral questions matter, and not everybody's morals align. And morals do not necessarily follow logic. They follow our feelings, and sometimes they're wrong, and sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're based on something logical. I try to make sure my moral structures are based on a logic to protect rights. The question then becomes, when is abortion acceptable? And my response is almost never, but not absolutely never. I'm not an absolutist, and I don't have any good answers for you because this is one of the issues where there's no middle ground at all. So on the issue of abortion, I reject the left because they say abortion to the point of birth. That's psychotic. I reject the left when they say abortion as contraception. I reject the left when people like Lena Dunham say they wish they had abortions despite not having been pregnant. Like, it's one thing to have a kid and say you wish you got an abortion because you're saying you don't like your kid. It's another thing to not have a kid and just say you wish at some point you had an abortion. I'm like, that's insane. It's insane for Michelle Wolf on Netflix to come out and say abortion's for everybody. My issue is the more libertarian one. At what point do we say it is or is not acceptable? And I'm sorry, when the government has a right to mandate one person's body to another person. There are people who argue that there should be no exceptions. No rape, no incest, none. The baby must survive. I believe Charlie Kirk's opinion is that if a young girl is raped, she should give birth to that baby. I don't agree for a variety of reasons. But I also respect that people are like, well, then why should the baby suffer? It's tough. Seamus's argument to me was that 9 months of suffering a woman is nothing compared to the death of the child. But I don't believe in this utilitarian view on abortion. I don't think you can take an immoral action against one person for the greater good. I mean, and it's not absolute because some circumstances you do have this. Ultimately, I would say I have no good answers. No good answers. But the left is clearly logically inconsistent. What I can say is I probably would be well served with a longer conversation on this. But the worldview that I think matters is first. Ron Paul said it. Abortion should not be illegal. It should be unthinkable. Agreed. Abortion should not be acceptable as a form of contraception. I believe there should be legitimate reasons for abortion. I believe that in the instance abortion takes place, there should be limiting factors such as the amount of time the baby has been in the womb. Consent plays a huge role. I do not believe that a woman who gets raped should be forced to carry a baby to term. No way. No way. That is not consent. And if you don't consent to give your body to another person, i.e. the baby, you cannot be forced by government to do so. In my opinion, I don't believe the government has the right to do that. But that creates a tough circumstance. We then run into the left's, the majority of abortions of the left that are recorded are no reason given. I reject that. That's wrong. That is wrong. How we get there is going to be largely cultural. So I like what Charlie Kirk is doing here. We have to explain to people what they're doing is wrong. There's got to be a little give I do not think we're going to be able to get to this absolutist position where, and I know many Republicans do believe in the exception for rape and incest because they are compromising, and I respect that. I think Trump is doing it the right way. Let the states decide. However, I think the blue states are going insane. And the only outcome here, I truly believe in the future, is going to be the end of abortion. I really believe this, despite my views on this, because there are some challenges here, but I do not believe that you can have a question of personhood left unanswered where some states deny it and some states grant it without there coming to some major conflict. The blue states saying that a woman can get an abortion at 9 months is insanity. That should be illegal. I believe the restriction should be comparable to Europe, extremely limited, and I believe there should be stated reasons that are justified. I don't think it should have to go to a court in most circumstances, but probably in many. I don't think I have a good answer for you guys. This is an issue with no middle ground, and there's not much I can say other than Charlie Kirk. He makes great arguments, and I respect them because he's thought them out. I disagree with pro-lifers on key points here. However, as you can see, the left, many of these people don't even know what they're talking about. Okay, the abortion stuff comes up. It's election season. You get it. I'm a middle-of-the-road, libertarian-leaning kind of guy. I'm slightly liberal, and I'm voting Trump. Take it for what it is. I don't have good answers for you. I am sorry. Shout out to Charlie Kirk for the epic college tour and for thinking through these things. I respect it. And I know that when I've had these conversations with Crowder or Glenn Beck, the Republicans are willing to compromise with me on these things and say, let's figure out where that line is where we can agree to create limiting factors. And I'm like, agreed. And then these women are just like, no, I should get an abortion whenever I want. You can't tell me what to do. And I'm like, I ain't playing this game. I'm going to wrap it up there. Next segment is tonight at 8 p.m. Smash the like button, subscribe, share the show. Follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast, and we'll see y'all then.